That's what I want to hear. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. We finally got you on.
Yes, definitely.
We
Good to be
finally,
here.
you
It's,
know, you guys, this has been talking in the making. So we're gonna find out about my light. I feel like my light is just not lighting. Um, we're gonna find out everything about the man with the many names, okay? The man, I had to ask him, what name do you want me to put on this flyer? So,
right, right, right.
he keeps you guessing. So we're gonna find out everything. Let me just go to my channel real quick on Facebook. I know most of y'all probably out there watching them verses and stuff, but take a break, have it playing in the background while you listen to us, okay? I didn't realize the verses was on tonight.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, Tank and Tyrese.
Hmm.
All right. So, bro, so let's go ahead and get this started. I'm not sure if you seen, my, interviews and stuff before, but I always like to start from the beginning, okay? From the
Okay.
very beginning, you know. So, what was Aaron like in elementary school?
Wow. Well, elementary school, I grew up in foster care. Um, Stayed with a preacher, and his wife. So elementary was kind of like I was doing good as far as, a kid. I was always like mischievous though. I was more, always intrigued by a lot of things, and I went to go look for them things too as a young man in elementary. So I don't know. Growing up in Del Paso Heights, we all have ADD, and I was just in the streets at a young age. Even though I was living with a pastor, I was outside like
Mm,
till the lights came on. Then I had to go in, but I stayed outside playing with friends and stuff. Just a kid.
okay.
Elementary kid.
Yeah, like in like fifth and sixth grade or something, did you like play sports or anything? Did you, get into anything?
I think sixth grade, the only thing I did really in sixth grade that really stood out, I was in a poetry contest. And I didn't wasn't doing poetry at the time, of course, because I was only in sixth grade, but I recited the Martin Luther King speech, and I won the uh the title to go to Oakland and perform out there for the championship. And then the championship from there went to Washington, D.C. But I made it to Oakland from my school. Uh, this in Northern California, my school. Then I made it to Oakland. So
Wow.
that was kind of big in elementary, I think, poetry, and then becoming a poet today. It's kind of like,
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. So, man,
yeah,
it started in sixth grade, but you know, just by accident, right?
by accident, definitely just because I wanted to like perform because everybody else was doing it and the kids was getting picked to go, and it was tight. I mean, I won my school, so it was cool to go to Oakland and see that experience. And a young girl, I remember to this day, she ended up winning and beating me out in Oakland, and
Mhm.
it was her poem was like ain't no crystal stairs in her life, like crystal stairs, and something like that. So a poem like that, and she
Mhm.
was hot. So she had the crowd and won and went to Washington. So yeah.
Oh, wow. Now, what was Aaron like in junior high?
Junior high, woo. I got became a little young man, chasing the girls and um at that point, just cool with everybody. I was a cool kid at that point. Like I said, I grew up in foster care, so I was more like looking for love, looking for friends, looking for people. I wasn't a bad kid at that time. So
Okay.
junior
Now,
high was kind of. I did play basketball in junior high. I was on the team for Real Tierra. Yep.
okay. Oh, Rio Terra. Okay.
Uh-huh. Real Tier. I was on the basketball team. I think I was like the sixth man, seventh man. I didn't start, but I was on the team.
Okay. Now, what about high school?
High school, that's when things turned around a little bit more. You know, with the kids I grew up with at elementary and junior high, they ended up going to the same high school at Grant High with me. Um, Ninth grade, I finished at Grant. I did at Grant.
Mhm.
Um, by the time 10th grade came, I got expelled from Grant.
Mm.
Um, like the first day.
The
Um,
first day?
first day they caught me with a pistol
What? Okay.
at Grant.
Wow.
Expelled me. So I had to go to Highlands and go to Foothill. And-
Mm.
No, they sent me to Highlands High School first. Then I got suspended and expelled from from Highlands High School, and
Uh-huh.
then I went. Then they sent me to Foothill. And at Foothill, at Grant, I played basketball for the ninth grade year, and then 10th grade year, I played basketball for Foothill.
Okay. Okay. Now, what year like was that? Like you got expelled.
What year? We talking about age now? So I think that was man 90.
It was in the 90s?
Yeah, definitely in the 90s. Yeah.
Okay. So, let's talk about that. Why at that young age that you felt like you needed to bring a pistol?
Mm. Well, the pistols was like out there back when I was growing up, like
Okay.
just to have them, they was around, and
Mhm.
I just had one and happened to have it in my locker, and some kid told on me, said, "Oh, he got a pistol," and that's when they expelled me.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. So then what happened after high school? What happened with Aaron after, did you go to
Well,
college?
10th grade, I dropped out.
Oh, you dropped out of 10th. Okay.
In 10th grade, I dropped out of 10th grade. Um, I had a car, so I was in the streets. I was really just out there trying to get money. Um, sold a little drugs,
Mhm.
back in the 90s, sold a little drugs. Just was hustling, getting money, um, until like 17 and then I got shot.
Oh, you got shot at 17?
17,
Oh,
yeah.
wow. Okay. What
Mhm.
part of your body did you get shot at?
I got shot in the head,
In the head?
the
I
back of the
never
head.
knew this.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of people don't. I got shot in the back of the head, and the bullet came out my neck.
Wow.
And it was a 22 that shot me. So we know them travel, and it could have came out anywhere in my body, but as I was actually bending down, reaching for something, um, to protect myself,
Hmm.
is really the reason why it came straight out because I was down like this, trying to reach in my boot as they was holding a gun to my head like this.
Oh, they came up and held the gun to your.
They was trying to rob me. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Wow. So from that incident, how did that change your life? Did it change it for the good or for more into the streets? What happened?
Well, I woke up in the hospital and, I had friends there that I didn't think that was my friends. I didn't even really know that they tripped off of that. And then they was like, um, there to protect me, tell me, they know who did it and blah, blah, blah. And after that, I just got worser into the
Mm-hmm.
streets, picking up more guns,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Wow.
quick to shoot a gun, quick to rob people. Uh,
Mm.
the
Oh,
guns, you know, back when I was growing up was just bad. So
yeah.
and it led me to prison pretty much at that point.
Now, do you feel, you say you was in foster care, right? Um, you know, your real, oh, I think I lost him. You guys, I think I lost him. 1 second, okay? I'm gonna put a pause on. Okay. All
Sorry
right.
about that. People
That's
calling me. I don't know how to do all this stuff. I'm trying to continue to stay on the phone.
okay. It's all right. It's all right. We're keeping going. So,
Okay.
um, so I was asking, did you know your real parents, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Do you feel like being in foster care kind of, even, want you to go more or, go the wrong route, or did it have an effect on you?
I mean, anybody being without their parents is going to have an effect on you. And that's why I say I was looking for a lot of love. But the pastor I was with and the person I was with was really, really good to me. I can't say nothing bad about them. And they installed a lot of good stuff in me.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Um, Now, okay, so Matt, so all this has happened. What you say you went to prison for how long?
10 years straight.
You went 10 years straight. Okay. And during that, I always ask, during when you was in prison and stuff, what was going through your mind and how, you, that's really the question. What was going through your mind and what plans did you have and did you stick to the plans?
Well, being young, because I went at 18, and soon, like I said, soon I got shot and I went on a tear. They put me in prison at 18. And they was ready for me. But going in there at 18, I was gangbanging. I was Del Paso Bloods. I was, you know what I mean? That's where I was at with it at that age, going straight to prison. So I was more on the yards, you know what I mean? Gangbanging, going what I knew, um,
Mm.
basically to survive. Because when you go in prison, there's there's levels to that, you know what I mean? And either you go in there, you turn Christian, Muslim, gay. Um, if this is if you don't want to be, harassed or touched, or you join a gang, or you already in a gang, of course, but you're gonna be somewhere, you know what I mean?
Mm.
And I went in gangbanging and stayed gangbanging up until like the last uh, 4 years of my time.
Okay. Uh,
Hmm.
and then the last 4 years of your time, what was that? I mean, you say you stopped gang banging. So
Hmm.
what was
I just stopped functioning on the yard like that. I mean, I was still going to the yard, but as far as functioning, up over a color or where you from, you know what I mean? It didn't matter because at that point I was so far in the prison system, couldn't nobody tell me nothing or anything like that. I knew I was a man. I knew who I was, and I knew what I wanted to do, and that was to get out of prison. Because if I stayed gangbanging, I wouldn't have made it out them walls.
okay.
But I
And
never, I never like, told people, I'm done, or I got jumped out or jumped in, none of that stuff. It was just I stopped, really caring about gangbanging. I stopped caring about, claiming a set that I don't even own a house at. I stopped thinking about that. That was 4 years before I got out. Just, understanding my life. You feel what I'm saying?
yeah.
You grow up. You have to grow up. Prison, it doesn't rehabilitate you because they do have people in there to like do programs and things like that. But the people that's doing the programs inside of there are people not of my kind. They went to Harvard, they went to Yale. Yeah, they got the degrees to do anger management. They got the degrees for mental health. They got degrees for all these things. But you're not my kind. And at the end, and then when I say my kind, I'm not just talking about black. You could be white, you could be Mexican, you could be whatever, but you just ain't walked in the shoes that I walked in for me to sit there and pay attention to you in front of me when behind me is all these killers that I got to go back to the yard with as soon as we get done with this anger management class. So that's why I say the rehabilitation part of it is not really there. Change and all that comes within self to grow up and know mentally who you are as a person. And
Yeah.
that's where I was at my last 4 years.
I understand what you're saying with that because I volunteered a few times at the Women's Empowerment. And in fact, this weekend I got orientation with St. John's to, be a volunteer. And I noticed, some of the other volunteers, they ain't been where we been, you
Right,
know. So when
right.
I speak to the women and I don't hold back. I give like what I've been through and they come to me. They always gravitate to me and stuff because I'm someone that's been, where most of them been at, and stuff. And
And can understand them.
yeah.
You can understand them. They, usually people can't really understand the problem. So how can you fix it?
Hmm.
You hear what I'm saying? You can talk to me. I can talk back and forth. We can go back and forth. But if you don't understand the problem, the only person who really understands your problem is you.
Hmm. Yeah.
Right, right. And in reality, I love being around positive people, man. I love being around people that has good energy and that can teach me something, you know what I mean? And I'm accepting to be learning, but just like people that's not on my level, that I feel like you don't even know what you're talking about in these terms. You're just doing your job because you have the credentials to do your job, but you cannot sit there and mentor me or teach me anger management when at the end of the day when I leave you, I'm going back to the yard to be angry.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, that's real. Now, how did poetry come about?
wow. So when I got out of prison after doing them 10 years, I was before I went to prison, I actually was throwing like all the house parties and little clubs when I was out, like for my age, right? And so I was like a promoter. I was doing that at 17, you know what I mean, along with all my stupid stuff, but I was still doing that. And when I got out, I went back to like doing what I knew how to do, and that's to get a crowd to come to a place. So I went down to downtown to the this place called the Wise Guys. It ended up becoming Vlade Divac, not Vlade Divac, another basketball player's thing. Yeah, Vlade's down. It was Vlade Divac's club. After I got done with it, it was
Tunnel. Was it Tunnel?
Tanel. Yeah, Tanel, and but it was called Wise Guys before that. It was called Wise
Mhm.
Guys before it was Tanel. And I ended up getting the owner to give me the front door, and he had the bar. And what I would do is go get rappers from Sacramento and let them perform at the club. And they would have to sell tickets, of course, because that's your audience, your people. And that's how I had it booming.
Mhm.
But it just got too hot for me because I'm still on parole, and I'm fresh out. So it's like they was showing guns, they wanted because they was a homie, they wanted me to let them in with the guns, and it was a whole lot going on. So one day, somebody invited me to a poetry event, and I went with them, and I liked the setting, I liked what they were saying, and I was like, "Oh, this is clean, that's tight." And so I was like, "I'm finna switch it up. I'm finna see if the poets will come out to downtown, being it's a bigger spot, it's liver, more commute, more people can come, right?" And so I shot that to one of the poets, one of my best friends, kind of like he really got me into the poetry game was Rodzilla, the Black
Oh,
Academic, Rodzilla.
yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember Brazil.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, Rodzilla. So I chopped it up with him and said, "Hey man, I'm doing I got this building downtown, and I want to see if y'all want to come and perform down there." And he was like, "Okay, we'll come out." And so I was doing mine on a Saturday, so it was really good because it was a Saturday night, and then it was a big spot, and it's downtown in Old Sac.
Mm-hmm.
So boom, he brought all the poets out, and I was just collecting, the door, of course, and they was doing the poetry. And so Rodzilla was like, "Hey man," because he lived kind of like close to me at the time. And he was like, "Hey man, you ain't gonna keep having us come out here doing this free poetry, and stacking up your pockets if you ain't gonna write a poem." He didn't want no money. He was just like, "You gotta do it, you gotta spit a piece." and
Okay.
and we was just chopping it up, and he's telling me this, and I was like, "All right, I'll go write one, then see what happens, see how it come out." And so he really just gave me the game and said, "Whatever you feeling, whatever you going through, or whatever you see, talk about it." He said it don't have to rhyme, but if you make it rhyme, that's even better. Right? But I was like, "All right," so I went home after the show that night. I went home and I wrote my first poem, um, and came back and recited it to that next week. Surprised the other poets. The audience was, I mean, we had over like 200 in the building, and the audience just standing ovation.
Wow.
And that's when I knew, and Rozilla knew. He said, "Man, you a poet. You are a poet," and that's what intrigued me to keep writing. So then I wrote another poem and wrote another poem. And then next thing you know, God was God in my hand because He writes it for me. You hear what I'm saying? I don't write. It don't really be me. It be Him, and that's why the poetry comes out the way it is because it's God's mission. It's God's time and it's God's gift that He gave to me to give to the people.
Wow. Now, let me, did you ever, I know it's kind of like the same, or you could tell me if it's not the same, but a lot of people go to being a rapper, but you went to being a poet.
Correct. So here's a little story about the rapping part. Everybody wanted to be a rapper. You hear what I'm saying? Um, but I first picked up rapping in prison when I was on the yard with Suge Knight, right? And that's the only time I went and wrote a rap, and I went to go recite it to Suge Knight because he was on our yard at the time. And I went to go shoot it to him. He's like, nah. He said,
He said,
nah,
no.
he said that ain't you, brother. He said that ain't it. That ain't it. And so when he told me that, because he had some good artists, on death row, when he was doing his thing, and so he was like, nah, that's not it. But we became cool friends or whatever. But just talking to me and telling me, letting me know you're not a rapper.
Yeah.
Uh, but he did say I remind him of Pac a lot. And that's when I had to get away from him. Hold on, Nick. Watch out, man. I remind you of Pac.
Wait,
Talking,
I got a question. When
yeah.
during that time, were you talking to Tobe?
Toby was on the yard with me. Toby, Tennessee.
Is
Yeah.
that are you guys the one that pushed me on the phone with Suge?
Yeah. Yeah. We was in the thing together. When
Oh
that
my God,
happened,
I didn't.
that's
You
when
know what?
we made them that happen. Even in GP got signed when I was on the yard with him. GP was famous. All of us was out
Because
there.
he wanted Jasper, remember?
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Mm-hmm.
my God, I never now. Oh, okay, everything's coming back because that was your. I remember Tober, calling me and stuff. I got Suge Knight on the phone, and
Mm-hmm.
okay,
That
okay.
was 2000 to 2003.
Wow.
Yeah, 2000 to 2003. I was with him on the yards. He had came on that 9-year violation for kicking the boy in Vegas
Okay.
with Tupac. That's when he came on a violation. That's when we linked up.
Yeah, I
But
just
yeah.
never forget that phone call with Suge on the other line. I was like,
Hmm.
and then he goes,
Hmm.
I don't know if you remember, he said to me, he goes, I know who you are. You took good care of my label. I was like, wow, okay. All right, I'm sorry. It just dawned on me. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what happened after all that?
So pretty much he told me, like I say, I couldn't rap. And so then we're back to me getting out and me going to that poetry event.
Mhm.
Then, of course, Rodzilla, I met him, and then he told me, I had to write a poem. So I wrote the poem, and it was history after that.
Wow, wow.
And
Now,
that was about, shoot, 21, 22 years ago.
man, so you've been doing poetry for 22 years.
Mm.
Man. So did you ever go back, to prison during that time or?
No, I never went back. Nah, because prison wasn't for me. You know what I mean? It wasn't. It was once you go in there, man. Like I said, and you go through all the politics, you go through all the prison stuff, and you see what's happening. And then when you catch yourself, and you find out who you are, and if you want to survive this, you want to be free, and you want to be who you are, be who God made you. Then you're gonna straighten up and get it right to get out. And
Yeah,
once I got out, I stayed out. I never went back on a violation or nothing. I've been out 23 years, man. I got out in '03. What is this? This is
26.
so what's that? 23 years, something like that.
Wow. You know what? Congratulations to you.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, that's
Yeah, most definitely.
who do that? Who do that?
Yeah.
And like I said, at this time, it's right here. You got to be mentally ready to make a change and stay out of prison. That's what I teach my youth.
Mm,
You got to be mentally ready to make a change with your life. Because you could play with it if you want to, but there's options when you play with it. You hear me? It's
yeah.
options. You can't if you 1 foot in and 1 foot out, you got options of going back to prison. It's a chance that you might make it back to prison if you got 1 foot out. And let's make an example of 1 foot in and 1 foot out, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We know what that is. You go to church, and then you sell dope.
Mm-hmm.
That's 1 foot in, 1 foot
One
out.
out. Yeah.
You hear me? So that 1 foot out, like I said, it's a chance of going back to prison. So I never wanted to get into like crime again. Anything that be illegal, I didn't do it. because I knew I didn't want to go back to prison. And the only
Mm,
thing that get me back in prison is anything illegal, right?
mm,
Doing something illegal. So I stopped and got away from the illegal stuff like the robberies, you know what I mean, the shootings and things like that. I couldn't. For what?
man.
For what? What you gonna do that for? Only times now I feel like, even being tempted, to do a crime would be if somebody was violent towards me,
Mm-hmm.
or my family. Then
Right.
I don't have a choice at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I don't. Hey, it can be $1 million sitting in front of me that don't belong to me. I ain't gonna touch it.
Right.
I
You're
wouldn't.
such a miracle. I mean, man, God has his hand on you, from
Yeah.
being, like I said, I'm just now, at least, I don't know, you might have told me years ago, I'm getting old. Sometimes I forget things, but I don't remember you telling me about you being shot in the head. That's a blessing that you're still here. It wasn't your time,
Mm-mm.
and we're going to talk, you guys, we got the Forgotten One, um, y'all to stay tuned. We got so much more to talk about because God has, it wasn't your time and he used you, to do some more things that we're going to be talking about, so that kind of, I kind of got the little chills and stuff, just knowing this testimony, from you and stuff. And, from being shot to going to prison and stuff. Now, I remember, so I don't want to skip over this. So okay, so remember when I was selling this house, right? In Citrus Heights, right? You were doing, what were you doing? Painting or what were you doing? You were doing,
Well, what was we doing?
you was doing like construction, painting. Didn't you get into something with houses?
Oh yeah, I was working with my father-in-law. I was messing with him, and he had me doing some. He was redoing houses and stuff, and so I was doing a little bit of construction with him and different things like that.
I told y'all he's a jack of all trades, y'all. This look,
Oh,
I wasn't trying to
you
go back to
got to
the
be.
beginning.
You have to be. I mean, I can tell you how many jobs I hold. And just different things because and that's another key to staying free is
Mhm,
staying busy. You know,
mhm.
when you got free time on your hand, you're gonna get into something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's another thing, a way of staying free is staying busy. So I stay busy. Maybe I still got ADHD, whatever, but I just can't. I, you know, I gotta do something. I gotta work, do something.
Wow. Now you got into being a pillar in the community, being a mentor. What motivated you to do that and how did you go about doing that?
Well, like I said, prison didn't change me. So when I was out, like I said, I knew who I was as a man mentally. Just knew that I wanted to be a good person or whatever. But I was still doing little things like hanging out in the hood and shooting dice. Being around a lot of people that could get me killed. Doing things that I really shouldn't have been doing. And
Mm,
so one day, somebody asked me to join this organization and I thought he said, it'll help your neighborhood, man. It'll help you, serve your neighborhood and give back. And I was like, let's see what it is,
mm,
Uh, I ended up joining the group and then did pretty well in the group, whatever, and with that, life is life, and at that point,
yes. Okay, so then after, you stayed there for a minute and then you branched out and started your own, right?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. And what is the name of your organization? Let the people know.
It's called the Forgotten Ones Mentoring Services.
Okay.
So I'm working with everybody that's been forgotten. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm,
So that's what it's not the poetic name. It's really the ones that's been forgotten, like foster kids, young gang members, shooters. The ones that play with guns. People that's in jail, people that they're homeless. It's just everybody that's been forgotten in their life. I'm servicing. So that's pretty much what my program is about because at one point I was forgotten, and that's where I got that stage name.
Oh, really? Okay, I meant to ask you that too. Now, what's the age range that you're working with?
So I work with young men, 12 to 18 years old, on one part of what I do, and then I also work with a high school kids, boys and girls, 12 to 14 to 18, um, ninth to 12th grade. So I do two or three different groups with kids with mentoring.
Now, why just those ages?
Well, mostly I wanted to work with young men that was like 12 to 18 because that was the age I got in trouble. That was the age that I know they're more vulnerable.
Mhm,
Uh, they get less guided at that age. When I say less guided, 9 times 10 they don't have a father figure in the home. They runaways, you know what I mean, or they just feel like the streets is going to be there for them, and it's not.
mhm,
And that's why I picked that age group, especially young men, because they have it the worst.
mhm,
When I say that, we don't look at it like they have it the worst. They look at it as being as a whole, which the girls get in trouble too, and they cause a lot of the trouble. But the young men, if they don't have that father figure or that solid person in their life that's going to continue to like be there consistently, then they headed for danger. They headed for jail, death.
Now, do you see, especially like young men below age 12, that's like just going the wrong route?
Well, I worked in elementary schools. You hear me? So I've seen those kids. I worked with the sixth graders and down, um, and they get into trouble. And people say, oh, we should start there in the elementary, and with mentoring and things like that. And I worked there. Don't get me wrong. I worked there for a long time, and I enjoyed mentoring. But them same kids I worked with in elementary, I'm still working with them. Um,
Yeah.
Now that I got them graduating high school and put
Mhm,
them in jobs. These are the same kids because they went to Castoria. Then now they're going to my school at Miracle University. You know what I mean? And then, like I said, I've been with them since third, fourth, fifth, sixth grade, all the way to where they at now. Some of them graduated already from the high schools um, and got jobs, but
mhm.
I stayed in their lives because that's just how it is when you connected with kids that's from the area that you grew up in.
Yeah.
You
Now,
never you never lose that contact.
wow, wow. What's been your biggest challenge in the big, I mean, and let me ask you, what's been your biggest challenge and what's been your biggest heartbreak like doing this?
Well, my biggest challenge for me it would be um the youth itself. I say it's a challenge because they will be cool with you when you got them around you. Um, when you're mentoring them, they listen. They're on their best behavior. You would think that they would they go to church and they wear a suit every day. When they're around me, right? But when they're not around me, the challenge is keeping that same energy with them when they go home, when they go to school, when they go around the parks or wherever they to the malls, just keeping that same positive energy. That's the challenge because you can't be with every kid 24 hours a day. I might as well have a big house with all my kids living with me. You hear what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I can't be around them.
Mhm,
But I know that they're learning something.
mhm,
I know that they're getting uh, the message, you know, but they're not reacting to the message. They're not doing the message. They're not behaving like the message when they're not around me.
mhm,
You know what I'm saying? That's my challenge. It's literally it needs to be way more errands, you know, effectively in the kid's life. And not just saying just me, but it got to be good people. It got to be consistent people. It got to be people that really care about what they do with the kids, with their job. You know, I really care. So my thing is, you need more of me's at the house, at the homes, at the schools, everywhere else. I mean, and I'm just being honest.
mhm.
I'm just being honest, and that's why they don't. they don't, like get it because when they get home, you know, mama's smoking a blunt on the couch, daddy in jail,
Mhm.
you feel me? Sister in the room drinking. They getting all the what they see.
Mhm.
And every household is different. It might not be the alcohol or the drinking, but it might be the yelling and the screaming. It
Mhm.
might be the abusive against the parents. Their kids go through so much at the home. So when they come out, and I'm mentoring and I got them and they on some positive things and they seeing different things. They got it. Then now they go to the schools and then them other kids is affecting them, because they don't have all the mentoring or they don't have
Mhm.
a home at home.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the challenge. That's the challenge. And then like the heartbreak would be just um not not being able to have the resources I need for these kids. And that's the heartbreak because I see it all the time. I see all this money from the city going out to different organizations, different people, and the money's not being used correctly. And the reason I say that, and I'm being honest, I'm just being
Yes.
honest. And the reason I'm saying that is because they're not being effective because we still have the same problem that nothing is being fixed. But people mentor different. People spend money different. People, do things different. And so that's the heartbreak because they're not funding the right people to make sure that this really makes a difference in these kids' lives. Because me personally, if they gave me $1 million, right? And I'm just speaking on facts. If they gave me $1 million, things would be better, a whole lot better, because it was starting to home and trickle out,
Mhm.
you know.
I don't know if you saw the post I tagged you in it, when I saw those kids tearing up that convenience store off of Power Inn and Folsom.
Mm-hmm.
I made a post. I don't know if you saw it, but I said, talk to your kids today. And I said, you can't rely on Jay Carter and Barry to handle your kids all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It starts in the home.
It does.
You like you said, you guys can't be everywhere. You can't be in every kid's home. And I just couldn't believe how all them kids was in that convenience store. You saw that clip, right?
Yeah, I seen the clip. But
What
they doing that all around. They doing that right now, like different places, and that's their thing.
they
That's
gonna get shop
that's
owners are carrying guns and stuff. You know
hmm
what I mean?
we lost kids. We lost kids like that, man. With the owners killing their kids. We lost kids like that. And what's crazy is, um, they're not being. There's not enough mentors. There's not enough people stepping up to worry about the kids. They scared of the kids. They scared of especially the ones they feel that's playing with guns and gangbangers. They're not. They're not finna work with them at all. You know what I mean? They just like, hey, when they get shot, I guess the gun violence will be over. But at the end of the day, we can prevent it. We can slow it down with everybody on board. With the same energy in the home and outside the home. Mentors, north, south, east, west of Sacramento. We can make it rock. But like I said, it's the wrong people. Uh, you know, help getting the money to help these kids, man. Really, to me, hey, to each his own. I never got paid for a grant
I saw
or
you post
or
that. Yeah.
or or here's some money to help you with your groups and things like that.
Mm.
If it was some crumbs. And like I said, that don't do nothing for the kids. You know what I mean? Because even when I was getting paid as a mentor, my money that I got went to me buying pizzas and taking the kids out to eat or taking the kids, to the convenient parks and things like that, spending money for them, you
Mm.
know. spending my money that I earn for the, the times that I'm working as a mentor, up under this organization, that money that I had went to them.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Because I'm with these kids 24/7, and they hungry, right? For sure, all the time hungry. Especially we talking about boys, they hungry,
Oh
and
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
they tear up a refrigerator. So and then they like to go places. I took them away from SAC. We went to LA. You know, I took them up to LA on some real live hands-on mentoring, you know what I mean? Gang banging, showing them this what you want to do, you know what I mean? Because this is what's really going on out here, you know. SAC ain't gonna give it to you like this. We finna show you right now how it really, started with this gang bang.
Wow. Now, do you have anybody? Is it just you? Are you a one-man show, or do you have some people working with you?
I work with a lot of people.
I mean, under your organization.
No, it's just me. It's just me right now. I got a staff, but staff is just staff for the board. But other than that, no, it's just me as far as mentoring. But I work with a lot of people, so that's what helps. When you work with people, it helps, get things across. Because I work with South area homeboys of mine that's been there and done that. You know what I mean? I work with North area cast that's been there and done that. And when I say been there and done that, that's why I like working with it. Because they can work with other kids like that. You can't work with a kid with trying to get them to stop gang banging if you never gang banged.
Right.
You can't tell a kid and stop working with a kid and work with a kid with gun violence if you never was in gun violence. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Because wouldn't have no clue. You
Right.
wouldn't have no clue what they might be going through.
Yeah. I
I
have
I
Bliff on.
understand. Hmm?
Bliff has been on my show a couple of times. Cliff.
That's a good brother. Good brother.
You
He,
know.
he does he does good work.
Yeah.
He does. He does good work. He's a good brother. And like I said, there's a handful I work with, and I like working with them because I can. If they have a kid from the south, I work with him. If I got a kid from the north, they work with him. Because that's just what we do, and we can connect. And I got some things going on right now. I'm trying to put together that's going to save the city. But like I said, it takes funding. It takes for us to do this, to pull this off, and they just don't want to give. They don't want to give me the money. I guess I don't know.
Well, we're gonna claim that some money's going. We're gonna speak that into existence. Now, what real quick, is there organizations for the young girls that you know of,
There is.
or is it needed?
It's needed too though. It's needed no. But there's a lot of people that's working with the women. Um, Leia out in the south, she got the thing that she works with the girls that be trying
Trafficking. Yeah.
trafficking, prostitute things. Yeah, so she be trying to help them out. It's a couple in the north area that people are working with the girls or whatever.
Mhm.
But it's needed. We need more. We need more definitely with our young ladies because they cause a lot of the conflicts. Especially with the younger generation that I'm learning. The ones that still like in like high school almost to like 25, man, they go crazy over the girls, and the reason they go crazy over the girls is the girls is pushing that craziness, you know what I mean, making them go act a fool, so they need help, they need mentoring too, they need more programs for young women, like Leia's doing out there in the south for sure.
And I'm gonna say this to everybody who's watching, that's watching this, watching the replay. Stop posting those girls fighting,
Right.
It's just like I just be like, why? You know what I mean?
It's sad.
Supposed to, like he said, be mentors, post positive stuff. I can't stand going on Facebook and seeing people posting the videos of girls fighting. Like it's the thing to do, you know what I mean? And
Hmm.
that's all I gotta say about
And
that.
it's not really like more of they want to get the fight. They doing it for the clout chasing and the they call it the clout chasing and the views, making friends and things like that. That's what they're doing it for. and they catching the fights just to get the views and the people that seem like they cool, clout chasing and stuff. That it's sad because you just show your people, you know, in a bad situation, especially, our people.
Yeah, we gotta do better. Now, okay, so we talked about, the mentoring and everything. Now let's talk about the businessman, Aaron.
Okay.
Now
Okay.
you done owned, a couple shops. I see you didn't I couldn't catch up with you, but I saw you going down. I said, oh, there go Aaron right there, the van. Okay,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
so let's talk about, that business that you do, done and do.
Okay. So yeah. Me and my one of my close partners, Derek, DT, and
Mhm.
Sam Sneak, just came up with an idea to open up a clothing store. We had a spot. It was good, and so we opened a clothing store. I stood strong on it for about 4 or 5 years. We made it through there 4 or 5 years. We just kept getting broke into in the beginning. Just kept getting broke in because the city didn't fix the lights, so it's real dark and easy for dope fiends and crackheads to break in, and that's who was breaking in. Stealing a bunch of stuff and getting away before we got there. So that I was taking a big loss on that because the insurance people didn't want to pay us because they thought we was setting it up ourselves, and it was just crazy. And I was like, man, well, y'all better know about Del Paso Boulevard, and that's really what it was. We just kept getting broke in, and it was a lot of break-ins at that time on Del Paso.
Yeah,
So
because look what happened to Tanya.
yeah, Tanya too. Yep, yep. And it just was all over. They just kept coming in, coming in. Never came near while I was there, while we were there. For sure, they ain't gonna do that. But they definitely did it when we were gone, 4 or 5 in the morning when they know that cats like us be knocked out. You know what I mean? And they came in there. And so because of that, and then it had to go. I had to do it mobile, and couple of my partners, they were, one got a little ill, and then the other one, was going through his court stuff, and so I just veered off on my own and end up make doing clothing mobile. So came up with the idea of doing mobile fits, kind of like DoorDash. Uh,
Mm.
So I call it like dashing with fashion.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, yeah. So that's my motto is that you see what you like online on my website, and then you pick what you like, and I deliver it to you,
Mm.
like DoorDash. So that's how I'm running now. Or I do festivals. If you ever see the mobile fits van, all purple like the Kings, then say pull over because I got some good, unique outfits, nice styles.
Mm. I
Sure.
see you posted up on a couple lots too. You still doing that?
Yep. In the summertime is really when I get active, uh,
Okay.
because it's more revenue in the summertime than I do in the winter. I get more, because it's raining and stuff.
Okay. Now, what's the website?
Oh, so it's called Mobile Fits, 916 Mobile Fits on Instagram.
Okay. Oh, you go on. Okay, it's not a web. You go on Instagram and you got the
Yeah.
clothes up.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Uh-huh. And you pick on right now it's down because I gotta restock. And so I'm restocking for the summer. So you'll see me this summer for sure. A lot of pop-ups and festivals.
Okay. So when you say we're gonna see you this summer, so do you have a lot of sexy lady stuff in that, man?
I definitely keep that. That's
Okay.
I definitely keep the ladies for the clothes for the ladies and nice outfits, different ones you can't find in Sacramento, of course, because I don't get my clothes from Sacramento. But definitely nice outfits for the ladies. I also um do good with the men too, because I keep all the updated from the young to old. So
Mhm.
definitely.
Okay, yeah, because I be on fab stuff. Mr. I said,
Oh
Fab,
yeah.
well, you gonna have the stuff for the sexy stuff. He goes, sis. He goes, what about this? He was trying to, I was like,
Uh-huh.
it's not sexy enough, Fab.
Right. Right, right. No, you want a pink dope era. Yeah.
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 So,
So,
uh, um, so now let's talk about how did you get the opportunity and what made you go onto the radio?
mm. So with that, Jay King and the late Marvell Reed, rest in peace, Marvell.
Mm,
Uh, they were looking for to launch a radio show on 97.5 called Hip Hop After Dark,
mhm,
and he was looking at people that was doing mentoring, a lot of good work in the city of Sacramento with the kids, because the whole thing was to bring mentoring from the radio to the streets and be able to give the youth a voice. In Sacramento on a radio show was to be able to give the youth a voice to be able to share their voice.
okay. And so the youth you have, I know you have different guests and stuff come on there, but you have youth that come on there too. Is that it or
Yes, definitely youth. Definitely. That's what it is. The show is for them. Uh,
okay?
it's their show. So we always pull youth in, have discussions with the youth about, some
Mm-hmm.
uh traumatic things that they go through in life, some of the good things if they're doing good. We just try to, really push them and pat them on the back and let them share their stories.
Okay. But you have also had like D Shot and other people come through too, right?
Definitely, because we're a radio show, and we the only radio show that do hip hop. Well, we do hip hop, excuse me, on we the only hip hop on 97.5. So
Mm-hmm.
and so that's why we bring a lot of artists, either from SAC or around California, on our show, and to be able to talk about what they doing, what's up and coming. But we had a lot of artists from Sacramento on there. Marvelous. We had just to name a few. We had Marvelous. We had Drady on there. We had Bowlegs on there. Bowlegs came on there. We had DP on there. We had who else? I'm just naming a lot of ones that I really wanted to bring on from the '90s,
Oh,
um, on our show.
mm-hmm.
We had a lot of artists, a lot of different artists from Sacramento. Nuna artist, he's a singer.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we had Mia is Golden. She's a rapper, young lady,
Mm-hmm.
up and coming artist, really tight.
Okay.
Uh, just to name a few. That's we had a bunch. So Jay King and Marvell, like I said, was looking for two people to do the show.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, they were looking into like who was working in the field, who was working with kids and stuff. And so they picked one gone from the South area,
Shout
Timothy
out to Wongo.
Timothy Poole, and
Yes.
they picked the Forgotten One from
Mm-hmm.
the North area. And so of course they went by our names, but these became our radio names, and he was already a DJ, so he
Mm-hmm.
already had his name going, and I was a poet, so I kept my name, and that's how I came out to be on 97.5 Hip Hop After Dark.
Was Soup part of it too or no?
Yeah, Soup.
Okay.
So we all came on together, Soup, and then that I was just telling you about the mentoring part of it, and so
Mm-hmm.
the Soup came on. Soup is like the 12 to 1 o'clock person that plays the music.
Oh,
And
okay.
he plays all the underground music, but it's still hip hop. And then Lucky got like Lucky Gold, so he's from 10 up until midnight. 10 to 11, I think he goes, and he plays all Sacramento artists, all artists that submit their music to the radio. Um, and he's a big engineer on it. Lucky plays a big part with Hip Hop After Dark too. All of us, it's all a team. Everybody's a team.
That's what I was going to ask you. How do people submit, their music and how do they, get interviews?
So for one, of course, I let them know, if you want to submit your music, we got to clean it up. Okay, you got to have radio play. You
Mm,
got When I say radio play, that means no cussing, no gang banging. I don't want to. We can't play you talking about killing somebody from another set,
mm,
hurting somebody. We just can't play it on the radio. That can be your album, but what we submit on the radio has to be cleaned up, and so that it gives the people, especially if you haven't never wrote rap without cussing
mm.
or gang banging, you know what I mean, an opportunity to change your style a little bit, you know what I mean. because you can't do it, and so they want to submit their music. And I told them, that one hit single, that can get you off the ground, if you clean it up.
Right.
We just can't, you gotta have radio play. Everybody had radio play at one point, and
Mhm.
you can bleep it, but we ain't gonna do it for you. It just gotta be cleaned up because we can't have no cussing on the radio. So that's how we tell them, and then we tell them to submit their music to hip hop music 975 at gmail.com. Hip hop music 975 at gmail.com.
Y'all hear that? Okay.
If you want to get your music played, submit your music at that website, and then we'll go over it. Like I said, if it's cleaned up, we'll play it on Saturday night, and you'll hear it all across the world because we go across the world, not just in Sacramento.
Now, back in the days, they had to do the EPKs and all that stuff. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm gonna say this too to everybody. Stop inboxing us your music and stuff. You don't even introduce
Right,
yourself. Oh my God, I can't stand when the inbox be just a link. Who are you? What are you about? You know what I mean? Start,
right,
you guys got to start being more professional, especially if you coming to people like me and
right, right,
Aaron, you know, um,
right.
introduce yourself, tell us about yourself and say, do you mind, would you give me feedback on my, something? Stop just sending us links and stuff like we just gonna listen to it. First of all, we don't like, I don't know about Aaron, but I ain't clicking on no links, all these scams and stuff going on,
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
you know.
I don't even deal with that. The music. They send it to the website. I mean to the email, and Lucky Gold, he does that. He's the engineer and he does the music. So if he say it's a go, cause I'll ask him, did somebody submit it, and he'll be like, oh, they're not clean enough to get on, or oh yeah, they ready to go. And usually I got an interview with somebody if I uh ask Lucky to do something with the music. I got to interview that person that night at Saturday night.
Mhm. Yeah, I remember back in the days, even the Future Flavor show, all everybody, you had to have clean music. Ain't nothing changed with radio. You know
Mm,
what I mean?
that's it.
Stay on World Star.
That's
You
it. Right, right. Yeah, or stay on underground and I tell these kids nowadays, and that's what's crazy about it. Right, there's a lot of people rapping. Okay, they're not making music. Okay, that's the difference. They're not making music, they rapping. So what I mean by that is they want to be rappers because that's the end thing for the young kids. That's the end thing for the young boys, right? The young men, even the young girls, even what the young girls trying to rap. That's the end thing, right? But here's the thing. How far are you going with your music? If you ain't going to take it to the extreme, to the level of it, get some money out of it, you shouldn't be doing it. And I say you shouldn't do anything that's not going to make you a profit, that's not going to make you no money. So these kids are rapping and going on live and getting killed
Mm-hmm.
because they're taking the music and they're going hard in the paint with this gangster rap, what they think is gangster rap. It becomes killing rap because you talking about the next person, you talking about another neighborhood, you talking about killing somebody. You know what I'm saying? You talking about getting in the load and going to play basketball. You know what that means? That's a new thing for killing. I'm telling you. So what I'm saying is their music, I mean, excuse me, their rapping is not making music. You're not making no money. You're not doing nothing with your music. Only thing you're doing is saying, "Hey, homie, you want to hear my new song?" And they pass them the phone, and they connect it to the aux cord. They hear it in the car, and they go crazy. They acting stupid over some stuff that ain't left your neighborhood,
Right,
over some music that ain't left your phone. You ain't did nothing with it.
right.
But that's all you guys are doing, and you're not submitting no music to get your music out there. You gotta have radio play to go get that one hit wonder so everybody can hear it.
Mm-hmm. So you can go on TV shows and stuff. Now, also, when they rapping like that, just like what happened Was it yesterday? Yesterday? The four, when you guys are rapping and you got all, you're rapping about the beef and then, when you're out and about and then the people catch you. Yesterday, a 4-year-old baby got shot. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
4-year-old didn't even have nothing to do with it. You know what I mean? And I don't know the story, but there was a teenager. But you guys, bullets don't have names, y'all.
Mhm.
It might have been the wrong car or whatever, but when I was praying this morning and I was praying for everybody, but especially the teenager and that 4-year-old baby, you know what I mean? It's just, and then there was another shooting today in the Thomas, you know, it's just, there's got to be
It's the
like
it's
heat.
the music. It's the music, just like you said. And then you go out after. Now, see, there's a lot of these kids, these young kids, is social media gangsters, social media rappers. You hear what I'm saying? And you're dissing these hoods and you're dissing these people. But then, like you said, you can go to the mall and now you killed. Now you dead because you really ain't built the way you talking in the music. You're not built that way. You know what I mean? You just talking it because you hear it. How
Mm,
many kids you hear say on the dead homies?
mm,
How many you hear say it? Do you
yeah,
hear kids saying on the dead homies? That to my ears, that is so disrespectful.
yeah,
And you know they be lying because some of the stuff that they say they be lying about it. And when I was growing up, we used to say on my mama, and that was bad.
yeah.
They be lying.
I say all
You
my dead homies, and yeah,
on my, but now it went to on the dead homies. Everybody's saying it. I heard a white girl say it. I heard a white girl say on my dead homies. You ain't got no dead homies. But it's what people say that it's the catch. It's the kids' era, and that's what they all chasing fake fake dreams, fake people. It's fake. It's all fake, and they chasing it like it's because it's cool. So if you don't sag your pants, you don't have a ski on, which is a ski mask. You don't own a ski. You soft. You ain't nothing. You don't your pants ain't sagging. You ain't you soft. You ain't nothing. You ain't hard. You hear what I'm saying? If you ain't rapping, you ain't hard. I'm giving you, oh, I'm giving the people because we live. I'm giving the people some real honest what's going on with our young men, our youth, and the girls too. But the youth, the young men mostly, they stressed out trying to keep up with trying to fit in. Does that make sense?
hmm.
They
Oh,
stressed
yeah,
out.
yeah, but now it's even worse.
They stressed out with trying to keep up to fit in. And
Mm,
it was when I say they stressed out, that's when they going on their tears. They got to put in work. They got to show that I can shoot a gun. I can kill somebody. Now, because you guys don't notice of me doing this, I got to put in some work. Now you go kill somebody, put in some work, but don't realize they're not opening that gate. They not opening that prison cell. They think they're gonna get a slap on the wrist like they've been doing in juvenile hall all their life. Juvenile hall is letting kids out for guns bigger than me, giving them a slap on the wrist and putting an ankle monitor on them. Right? I don't wish nobody in prison or jail, but I know slapping a ankle monitor on a kid with a big gun that's big and then letting them out on ankle, he cut his ankle, get another gun, and hurt somebody, and go back and get right back out 2 months later, back on the same ankle monitor. You hear what I'm saying? But as soon as you turn 18 and you commit that same kind of crime with a gun, ain't no more opening them gates.
mm.
Ain't no more for 4 or 5 years down your life, and they don't can't deal with that. They don't understand that. They never knew that.
They
You hear what I'm
lucky they
saying?
don't ship them to Iraq instead to be fighting the wars and stuff.
They
You
used to
know?
do that. They used to do that, but they don't do that now.
Yeah,
But that's where they need to be. And I feel like if you can hold a gun and feel like you can shoot a gun, you know, you got to stand up to that. And parents have to understand that we could have prevented that before it even got to that point.
hmm. Now you remember what I went through. Remember when Jerry, I always give the story, my son, you know, um, when he had God set him down for the 6 months, and stuff. And all the time he was in there, I was encouraging him and stuff. Now look at him, on two barbershops doing,
Doing well. Yeah.
now he's seeing who his friends are, not, he's starting to realize, like, mom, he was like, Mama, I see when I be with these people, I get more motivated and, and stuff. But, it's just and it starts, I'm just going to say it again, it starts with the parents at home. You can't be calling your kids names. You can't be doing, and when they do go to jail, look, I didn't expect, when he was young, and I can't believe it's been over 10 years, he reminded me at the Black Expo. But, when they're in there, speak life into them,
Yeah. You
you
got
know?
you have to.
Yeah, it makes sense. So speaking of that, real briefly, I remember years ago, I was like, Aaron, you ain't, how many kids you got?
Hmm.
And he was like, Alita, sis, I ain't got none. Right? Then all of a sudden I look on Facebook, I was like, wait, what, hold on, what happened? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that. I love seeing that, having your daughter, you met your daughter and how close you guys are, you know. How did it feel when you found out you had a daughter?
It was the best feeling ever. I mean, not just, always wanted a kid, just never knew about it. Never knew I had a kid. And then finally found out, and best thing ever.
And
You
now
know,
she's at college?
college, she's working, doing her, her big one. Living.
Man,
It's
wow.
it's just a special gift, I think that God's timing, um, making sure that I was all the way right to be able to take care of her.
And
Um,
God's got his whole hand all over your life.
yes, yes, and that's pretty much what it was. It was his timing, and I always wanted a kid. I work with kids, and then he's like, "Well, guess what? You have your own." And so, when that happened, she was 14. Now
Oh,
she now she's 20. She
my God, it's been
graduated
that long now? Oh,
graduated from high school. Worked been working since she was 14. When she came to me, she got a job. So she was, she learned everything she's supposed to learn to be a young lady, and I'm just proud of her. And she does really good with life.
wow. What's she going to like college for?
She was taking kinesiology,
Okay.
like to work with athletes, because
Hmm.
she ran track. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She
Wow.
ran track in high school really fast, and so
Yeah. So what's in the future for the Forgotten One, Aaron, Jay Carter, whoever, all them folks? So what's in the future?
wow. So like what you said in the beginning, life be life, and so uh, I just take it one day at a time. Every day God wakes me up, it's a goal to be greater. Um, I do a lot of different things now. So I still stay busy. Um, I'm a youth minister at a big church. Um, so I serve
Okay.
almost 25 to 30 kids every Sunday. Um,
Shout out the church. What is it?
Center of Praise, COP,
Okay.
at
Okay.
Midtown, downtown Sacramento.
Oh, I saw you at Big Al's, right? Is that Center Praise?
You said Big Al?
Yeah, his funeral.
Oh, yeah, that was Center of Praise. Yeah,
Okay, so you're at that church. Okay.
yeah. Shout out to Bishop Lovelace. Really, 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 really good pastor. Love that brother. But no, yeah, I do that. Still doing the radio, still writing, still doing poetry. That I can't let that go. I think I'll be doing that for a long time. Um, uh, Raising my you know my kids in Del Paso Heights, because I still work with my young gents, trying to keep them on the right path. Then Miracle, I'm doing mentoring there, working with the kids that's dropout crisis, because the
Let me
dropout.
ask you,
Hmm.
What has been your greatest, like, that you could think of, like right now, your greatest accomplishment with them kids? Like what kid or what or whatever, you just feel like, well, like, wow.
Just getting to know them, getting to meet them, and being in
Yeah.
their lives, and allowing me to be in their lives, because it's like I said, it's hard, to get to these kids, especially the ones that's really out here in these streets and that's gang banging and playing with guns. It's hard, they don't trust a lot of people. They don't want to open up to a lot of people, and that's the main thing, is if you can get them to open up and get vulnerable about their life, then you can help them and resource them and do things. So that's one of them, is just being able to get to know them and work with them.
Was there, you don't have to say no names, but is there like one kid like was such a big challenge, and you worked with them, and now he's older, and pretty much successful, you know I mean,
Yeah, I have a bunch of those that's
bunch of us.
successful.
Okay.
Successful, like I said, they went all the way from started in third grade, and now a lot of them graduated from high school, got jobs, doing really good, doing really, really, really good. And do I take the credit or feel like I took credit in making a change in their life? A little bit in their life, whether it was me or somebody else, but I feel. And that's one thing that I noticed working with youth, is that they never forget you. They never, I had uh, one of my guys is in college playing hoop right now, um, playing basketball in college, and he said, Mr. Aaron, when I make it to the NBA, I'm gonna have you at my games, and I'm gonna get you a car. He just wanted to do things for me, and I didn't. I'm not asking for that. I never asked for that. I'm just asking that you do the right thing in life. But that's what they want to do. You hear what I'm saying? They want to come back because he's going to the NBA. I know he's going. Because he was that tight, and I had to get him on the right path, keep him on the right track to stay in school. You hear me? To play basketball, because that's the gift that God gave you. You were really good at it. You just was messing up in your grades, and thinking the streets is where you needed to be, and that's not where you needed to be. So I pulled him from that, kept him over here, along with his parents helping him, and getting them on board and helping him. And like I said, he gonna make it to the end. This is his third year in college. Third year in college. If he don't get drafted this year, it's definitely gonna be next year. The NBA gonna grab him.
Oh, wow. Well, you know what?
A lot, like it's a lot of them like that.
Like I said, I just appreciate everything that you do. I've been knowing you from before all this. Man, it's been, as we've been talking, like, man, I've been knowing you for a long
Lo-
time.
long time.
Man, a
Yeah,
long time.
definitely.
It seemed like just yesterday, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, cause you outside. You be outside. You be outside. So when you outside and you in the field and doing the things that we do,
Mhm.
we gonna stay connected for sure. For
I didn't.
sure.
I'm from Seaside, but when I came up here, I got introduced to DPH.
Right,
you
right.
know, so it's like the whole, being, part of, Del Paso Heights and everything, and
Mm-hmm.
and shout out to Toby,
Oh my
giving me
God.
a shout out and stuff.
Intellect Records, y'all. Intellect Records.
Intellect Records and everything. Is there anything before we end this that you feel like you want the people to know that we have not covered? I know we covered a lot.
No, definitely. We covered a lot. I just, we living in these times of days that, you know, don't stress off the politics.
Mm,
Don't worry about that. Because we take that part of us out of us. Boom, leave that alone. Get that out your way. So politics is out of your head. You know, get to know God if you don't know him, because this world, to me, and hey, just a forgotten when talking to y'all, that this world is coming to an end soon, just by everything that's going on in this world. And the reason I say get closer to God, so that you can see another life, the afterlife, the people that we lost, that's not no longer here, that we believe went to heaven, get saved, get his life right with God, so that you can see your people again, that you can be in an afterlife, and go get that mansion that God talked about, because that's right. That's my mission now. I can't. There's nothing else I need. I've done everything else. Everything else. I had money, had cars, all the fancy things you can want, on earth. I just want to hug God now. That's it.
Ruthie used to always say that. You used to hear her say, "The world coming to an end."
But if you
Always
if you
say
if
that.
you if you read if you study and read your Bible, that's what it says. And I'm not trying to get godly on Facebook. I'm just letting people know. You asked me what to leave the people, and I'm leaving the people this: to love and get to know God, if you don't already,
Mm.
because it's real and I'm the testimony.
So we're gonna get, you can go center praise, Aaron, or
Come on out. Center
you can
praise
come
is
to
always.
Macedonia with me.
Yeah, hey, I went to Macedonia. Macedonia was a good church.
Yeah, Pastor Johnson got a yeah, yeah,
Macedonia was a good church. Yeah, there's a lot of good churches. I'm not telling you you have to
yeah.
come to the praise, but and I'm not even telling you to go to church. I'm telling you to get a relationship with God.
Having
You understand what I'm saying? In your heart, know who He is. Have a relationship. Ask Him to forgive you for your sins so that you can go to heaven. That's all I'm saying.
mm-hmm,
The world might not end. We might, but we gonna end one day,
mm-hmm.
right? We're not for to steal this life no longer than 120. So all you healthy people, just know to love God, and that's all I can leave you guys. And that's just real. He gonna protect you and be with you until He's ready for you. Straight
And
up.
one more question. Will you have a summit? Remember I was telling you like a vision I had to do like a 1 day summit. Is that something that you in the future that you would like to do?
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's a lot of things planned. It's a lot, and I'm easy to work with. People is like, oh man, I wonder, can I call? Ask anybody I deal that calls on me to do some. I'm showing up.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what, I'm gonna show up if I'm available. I'm showing up because and for free. I've done shows for free. I've done a lot for free my whole life.
Yeah. Yeah, he
I've done,
has. I've been there. He has.
I've done shows for free.
Yeah.
So my thing is like I said, I'm willing to do, whoever's willing to work and put it together and do the things that we need to do to save our youth and keep our youth safe. I'm willing to do it. I mean, and I dedicated myself to that already, and I have no other plans to go in any other fields than what I've been doing.
Right. Now go ahead and shout out your handles, how people can get in touch with you, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever you have.
Okay, so you can go on Instagram to watch your folks.
How you spell that? Because
You spell it like a watch,
okay.
and then your folks.
Okay.
Okay, so just like a watch, and then your folks.
Mhm.
And Facebook, Jay Carter. Jay Carter came from a book. That's not my name. Those that know me know my name. I ain't gonna put it out there, but they know my name.
Uh,
Uh, but Jay Carter came from this book I read in prison, and he was a solid character. So I used that name for my Facebook handle.
mhm.
That's where that came from. Um, yeah,
Okay.
the Forgotten One. Y'all know. Y'all see me around. Y'all know where I'm at. Y'all, y'all know what I do. So if you looking for me to do a show, I'm still doing shows. I told you I don't think I'm ready to retire yet from poetry. Um, but yeah, easy to book. Call on me.
Okay. So they get in touch with you. Do you have a manager?
A manager?
Uh-huh.
No, no manager. You can definitely get a hold of me. It's I don't believe in the managers, and I don't need a manager.
Right. Yeah,
I,
I ask. Those case people, some people gotta go, You never know. One day you might need one. You might get big enough, you might need one. Get a whole bunch of calls.
Do you have a manager?
I mean, not yet, but
Have you had a manager?
I don't need one though. I'm a promoter.
You a boss.
I'm a boss.
So it used to be boss Alita. I don't know what happened. It used to boss what was
Boss
it?
lady. Well,
Boss lady. Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
on Instagram it is Boss Lady Alita.
Oh, okay, okay. I'm about to say you don't need no manager. Who needs a manager when you're the boss
Right, right, right.
of your own life, your own destiny, your own world?
Right, right. I appreciate everybody that's watching. We got a few folks on here and everything. I think my niece is on here telling me I look beautiful and stuff. Um, yeah, appreciate everybody. You guys support him. And if you guys see, him post events and stuff, you guys show up, donate, okay, that's what I'm going, okay, they're not going to end this. You guys heard he doing everything on his own, right? You know what? Bless the kids. Reach out to him and say, "Hey, how can I support this?" You know, it doesn't. He don't even have to do events. He's forking everything out of his pocket. You know what I mean? So, and then I'm gonna say this right now. Um, because it's a nonprofit, so my real estate closings, I want to start, I want to put you on the list for me to start giving back every real estate closing, and everything. And also, whenever I can, just to donate, because I think it's just so important. The kids are our future.
It is important. It's important to
It,
donate. And like right now, what I'm looking for is a Sprinter van that can hold
mm,
12 to 16 kids because I'm trying to get them out of here for the summertime and go camping with North area kids and South area kids together. So I'm looking for a Sprinter van, not to borrow, not to rent, but to have so that I can keep this program going with because it's I need to pick up the kids. You hear me?
a
And I,
good running sprinter van. Okay.
yes. And then you can get a tax write-off for that.
Mhm,
So
exactly.
if
So,
you donate one. But yeah,
yeah.
that's what I'm looking for right now for the kids. That's it. No money, no nothing, just a Sprinter van. That's
Yeah.
it.
So get back to the local organizations that's actually doing stuff, for the youth, for the community, and stuff. Research the organizations, please.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
like it's like a church. You got to research the churches too. Research, research,
There,
research.
there.
Anything that you guys are getting into, just go observe, and just marinate on it, and just research everything. So. I love you, brother. And
Love you more.
anytime you want to come back on, you just let me know, okay?
We gotta get you on the radio now. You gotta come on the radio. I gotta do an interview on you, Boss Lady Alita.
Yes, yes, most definitely.
All
I'm
right.
ready. Not this Saturdays, right?
Saturday. You know, I was gonna say this Saturday I'll see you. So
No, no, no.
I got a spot for you.
What am I doing this Saturday? Let me think. Am I doing? Yeah. No. Oh, yeah, yeah. I can make it this Saturday.
Okay, let's do it.
Because it's at night, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
seven
yeah, I
o'clock.
can make it. Yeah. Okay. We'll talk about that. I'll give you a call tomorrow, okay?
Okay, okay,
All
okay.
right. All right. Love you. And tell wifey I said hi.
I will. Love God.
All right. Always. Bye, y'all.
Yeah.